Hey, this is HQ over here. This is HQ. Uh, Today we got the wife code with HQ. Learning to live and love in real time. Learning to live and love in real time. That's the most difficult. I think this is one of the most difficult things a wife has to figure out is living and loving in real time, because we're always weighted down by the what ifs, the past, the present. I mean, when you live and love in real time, it means you have to embrace the present without being weighted down by stuff that came from the past, concerned about the future. And we all are always concerned about what's going on with the future, what's going on in the present. You have to learn to live in the present. So in order to do that, you got to practice being very particular, very mindful. You have to pay attention to your thoughts, your surroundings, your emotions. Look at it objectively, because most people can't. Stuff like meditating, journaling, this will help to center you. Because if you don't center yourself, your relationship and family will never be centered, and it will always be chaos there. You have to also figure out what's important and what's not important. You can't be distracted by stuff. You cannot be on the phone all the time. You cannot be with your friends all the time. You cannot be non-present with children all the time. Social media, these are things that you cannot be occupied with in order to conduct a serious relationship. It's a pastime. It should be a pastime. You should limit any kind of thing that would keep you from being present and available to your relationship, right? You cannot be regretful. You cannot be worrying. You have to accept what has already happened in relationships. Last week might have been a bad week, but this week has to be a good week. The future, your future, all futures are unpredictable. But the whole point is to be flexible in those activities. Focus on what you can control in that family, in that relationship. Be totally present every time that you're with your husband. That means no phones. That means no social media. That means not talking to someone on the phone while you're trying to be in a relationship with your person. If you're going to be somewhere with your husband or your wife, you have to be present when you're doing that. You have to immerse yourself completely in that relationship, in that activity that you're doing with that person that you're married to. And the whole point is to make sure that you are happy and present. See, me and my husband, we had opposite things that we did. We were the complete opposite of each other, right? He loved sports and I loved more refined things like plays and opera and bookstores and book readings and things like that. So we decided you have to show up for me once or twice a year, and I have to show up for you once or twice a year. I have to do one or two things that he liked, and he had to do one or two things that I liked. So therefore, I was always present. You put down the phone, you put down any kind of distractions, and you become focused in the relationship when you're doing things together. Be completely present. You be loving in that emotion. You be loving in that moment that you two are together. You be loving and present. Give your full attention. Nobody likes a person that's distracted in a relationship. When you're with this loved person, this person that you love, this person that you care for deeply, listen to them, make eye contact, be communicative, be verbally acknowledging. You have to express this love and this uh, respect openly and honestly when you're in this marriage. Learn to say, I love you at the most inopportune or opportune time. And don't hold yourself back. See, a lot of people on this planet, they I was thinking about it last night. People have so many rules and expectations. You cannot have rules in relationships like that. It doesn't work. You have to be, you have to accept that person for what they are and their flaws. And I'm not saying, but we're talking about a marriage. We're talking about a wife. We're not talking about being in a relationship that it doesn't have the commitment. I'm talking about someone who has already made the commitment to you. Okay. Be open and straightforward with that person. Learn to say I love you. Learn to be appreciative and grateful for the things that you have. Okay. Don't expect the world from someone. I'm not saying if he takes out the garbage, you get out there and get on your knees and start saying, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when it's time to be appreciative, return the favor. Return the gratefulness that is within you, and you want to push the marriage forward. Because a lot of people take people for granted. There's a lot of people on this planet that go to bed and they have never been touched. They haven't been touched by their spouse. They don't touch them. They are not wanted by their spouse. They are taken for granted. Let go of those expectations in the relationship between a person. Accept people for who they are. Accept them for where they are right then, right now. Don't worry about what they should be. Don't worry about what they could be. Don't. This is the key. The cheat code. This is the key to loving somebody or wanting to love somebody. You be open to it. You look at that person, and that person is unique. You used to date Johnny. You used to date Johnny. You used to date Nicole, and Nicole just wanted your money, or Michael just wanted your body. You put all of that to the side. You live and you love presently, which means that you accept the person for who they are, who they stand in front of. If they tell you who they are, believe who they are. Trust but verify. It's called trust but verify. So I'm going to take a person as they are, accept them for who they are without worrying about what they may or may not do. That's specific in a relationship, specific in a marriage. These are things that I expect you to do in this marriage. And I'm not going to hound you, because these are the things that you should do and you should know how to do if you're in a relationship or a marriage. Learn to forgive people. That's a difficult one, but it's easy if you decide that you're going to not hold resentment, not hold something against the person. Because a lot of people get slighted by the things that people say, and they don't know how to let that kind of thing go. If you hold on to resentment, it keeps you stuck in the past, and then you don't have peace in your marriage. You don't have you have these little nuggets of resentment back here in your relationship, and you cannot move forward in relationships if you don't know how to get rid of that past stuff. You don't want to ever change a human being. You cannot change a human being. Everybody knows that. You expect them to be how they are. That's the whole point of vetting and dating. Vetting and dating. There's certain things that you get involved with. Just for example, if I met a person today, just for example, I was vetting for a husband, I would make sure the basics for me would be you got a house, you got a car, you have money in the bank. That would be the markers for me. That would be the original first level of vetting for me. Okay. Second level of vetting would be, do you have any kind of addictions? Do you take any kind of medication? Do you sleep with a lot of women? This is the second level for me, right? And you rule out the person accordingly. First level should be, are you doing grown adult things? Grown adult things. You got a house, a car, you got a job. That's the basics. House, car, job. If that's the first level of vetting. House, car, job, apartment, car, job. Not living with mama, especially if you're looking to have a mate, especially if you're looking to get a wife or keep a husband, right? But vetting is a different story. I'll have a lesson sometime about vetting. How do you vet into the relationship? But getting back to living and loving in real time, you got to learn to forgive. You got to learn to forgive. And I mean, forgive with your whole chest, depending on those things that you have to forgive, right? Because there's certain things you can't forgive. Okay. There's just certain things you won't be able to forgive. Mm-hmm. He said, it's the inconspicuous behaviors and unexpected gestures that matter the most in a marriage. Yes, nonverbal communication is very important. Okay. Levels of disgust, levels of contempt. You should be able to read all of those signs from a person. When people have attitude, when they have resentment and attitude, it will show in the things that they do with you. I asked you to do this, you didn't. I asked you to do that, you didn't. I asked you to go here, you said I wasn't doing that. All of these little things, these are markers that you look into your relationship and say, well, dang, you used to do it, or I never asked you to do it before, but then you have a real pushback on that. Look out for those kind of markers and don't do those things. You also have to create memories, good memories, reproducible memories. Take time to make shared behavior, shared experience. Learn to laugh together. Learn to choose peace. Don't choose argumentation. A lot of people choose to be right instead of just being. Nobody wants to choose right instead of just being. Okay? I don't want to argue with you. Who wants to argue with somebody? Nobody wants to do that. And the way a woman tries to live her best life, or she tries to live the best life she can, or live and love in real time, right? You have to embrace a lot about yourself and know a lot about yourself too. People keep saying, get married early, do this, do that. But you have to be, as a wife, you have to be on that road to self discovery early. See, I'm one of those old souls, one of those people that that I knew what I wanted to do when I was like 10, 12, 15. Because I would read all the time. Read about marriage, read about getting married, read about what to do as a wife. And then I saw my mother and my father who stayed together until they died together. And they were together since they were in their early 20s. So I knew what I wanted to do early. So a lot of people don't know what they don't know they want to be married early. They don't know they want to be a mother early. They want to be a mother early, but they don't know that they want to be a wife early. And part of knowing these things is preparing yourself to be that wife, preparing yourself to be in that relationship. But you got to first learn to love everything about yourself as a woman. Because if you're so caught up in what you are and what you're doing and what you have to do and how you do, you have no time to love somebody else. You're selfish in that regard. Most people are selfish in that regard. Most people don't think outside of themselves, or it's difficult to. You have to learn to tame your inner self. You have to learn to tame your inner self before you can ever be able to love and live outside of yourself. Learn yourself first. Accept who you are. If you dark-skinned and ugly, accept that you're dark-skinned and ugly. If you're fat or skinny, accept what you are, fat or skinny. Okay? Learn what you want and what you don't want. Set those boundaries for yourself. And learn to celebrate you accordingly. Because you ever heard this phrase, I can't love nobody else unless I love myself. A lot of people, women are selfish. Yes, you have to be selfish. All human beings have to be selfish first because they have to learn to treat themselves with respect, with kindness. They have to learn what boundaries they have. They have to make boundaries. And all of these things have to be done without someone making them feel guilty to do it. So I'm trying to tell you, loving somebody in real time, living with someone in real time, you first have to live and love in real time yourself. Not within a marriage, before you get married. And then you're able to move and adjust in the marriage. Prioritize how you feel, what your body says, health, wealth. Conduct yourself like it's treat your body and your health like it's the priority. This is how you do first before you get married. You're not ready to get married if you cannot think outside yourself. And most people don't know how to do that effectively. Make sure you eat right. Make sure you put your body on the right track. Make sure you get enough sleep. Make sure you are healthy. I don't know how many times people go to bed at 12 o'clock at night, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they grumpy all day. Nobody wants to be around a grumpy human being. Nobody wants to be married to a person that does that. So you have to prioritize you. If you don't take care of you, nobody else is going to take care of you. I don't care what you say. Men don't prioritize the health in people like that. Men only stay inside of their head and do that. They only think of protecting and providing. They don't think about what goes on inside the house. I know I was married a long time. I understand exactly how they think. Worrying about inside is not their priority. You have to worry about the inside. Okay. You have to put strong relationships in place. The one thing you don't do is get rid of strong relationships. Make sure you have strong relationships and people that will be supportive and help you through bad times and navigate through life and love and all of that kind of stuff. You cannot be around toxic people. You cannot bring toxicity into a marriage. So you learn to minimize that toxic behavior. You learn to minimize the toxic friends. You learn to minimize the toxic atmosphere that may have been a part of your life. You got to invest in your partner, invest in yourself, invest in your partner, and that adds value to that marriage, right? So I'm saying keep yourself mind active, keep your mind going. Learn how to do extra things for the kids. Learn how to do extra things for your husband. He has to learn how to do, he has his own journey. I can't teach a man how to be a man. I can't teach a man how to do that. Learn to keep building on yourself as a mother, as a wife. Learn new techniques of how to control your anger. Learn new techniques at how to control your impatience when you have children. Learn new techniques about how to comfort your partner, how to comfort yourself. Challenge yourself to do these things in a relationship, in a marriage. Keep moving. Keep moving to better yourself, to be a better, fully developed human being. Because nobody wants to nobody wants to be married to a cashier and the cashier just goes to work and does cashiering work every day, but she has nothing new to say. She has nothing new to contribute to the conversation. Nobody wants to be married to a person like that. So keep evolving, keep changing emotionally. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute, hold on. Who said that? Rakai. There's ugly people who get married all the time. There's ugly people and beautiful people who get married all the time. I'm saying accept yourself how you are. If you know you're not going to be any more than what it is, do what you have to do. Be the optimized version of you. You know, some people think I'm ugly. But I do the best that I can to be visually appealing. So I'm saying if you are less than appealing to other people, be the best version of yourself. What are you saying, Rakai? You said ugly, visually unpleasing to the eye, or unacceptable negative. A lot of people have negative behaviors. I'm saying you have to minimize those negative behaviors. Okay, you have to minimize those. You have to recognize them first, and then address them. Most people try to address them. But if you're not, but if someone tells you about those, you know what? One of those people who tell you exactly what's wrong with you would be a good thing to have in your life. If you had a person that would tell you what is your bad habits, what is your blah blah blah, right? That would be a good thing, and then you work on those accordingly, okay? Because a lot of people don't know what they have that's wrong with them. See, I see a lot of people who say, I want this. I want a woman who's fit. I want a woman who's friendly. I want a woman who's feminine. I get all that. That should be your first level. That should be the first level of what you're looking for. Okay. Anybody outside of that, okay, don't entertain. Okay. You need to say what you were talking about. You need to be specific. You know, I got rock hard brain. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, rock hard. I don't know. You got to explain it to me. Okay. Back to learning to live and love in real time. Follow whatever passion. I don't label people as ugly. I look at their character and yeah, I don't label people as ugly either, but for expeditious purposes, I said ugly. I don't label people as ugly or cute or what I try not to make judgments on looks because I believe people can optimize what they look like if they try. Okay. Ugly or cute or beautiful. I really don't look at that. I look at people, how they walk in the door. I visually make a check of what they are, and then that's it. Okay. So back to it. as a wife, follow your passion and your purpose. Not all women are meant to be wives. Yeah, expeditious purposes. Not all women are meant to be wives. There's nothing wrong with a person who recognizes that they don't want to be a wife, they don't want to be a mother. There's nothing wrong with that. Not all of us are meant to be in relationships, but this is for relationship purposes. You have to follow a passion or a purpose. You cannot, if you're one of the people on the planet that has to do more than just be a wife, you have to be more than be a wife. No guilt. I don't have nobody's giving you the guilt for wanting to do more than just be a wife. There's a lot of us on here who want to be more than just a wife. Okay? A lot of people. So I'm saying fulfill that purpose, but that purpose has to be in line or being on the opposite or next to track of you being a wife, wanting to be a wife and a mother, if you want to be a wife and a mother. Okay? Because sometimes being a mother is not as fulfilling, or a wife is not as fulfilling as you want it to be. Let's just be honest. We're going to be upfront with that. Some of you are. That is the way it is. Don't be giving nobody no guilt because they don't feel that way. You have to do what makes you fulfilled. But if you want to be married, you have to make that track right along with being a romantic partner and being a wife. Okay? You just have to. Because it doesn't work otherwise. As I said, I had the degree. My husband didn't have degrees, but I let him take charge of the relationship because he had a car, he had a place to stay, and he had money in the bank. And he was a fully grown adult when I met him. Okay. He was older than me, not older, but 2 years older than me, but he was a fully functioning adult who had moved away from his hometown to my hometown. And he had friends from his job and all that, but he didn't really have people outside that he knew, right? And then he met me. So, but I was already on a track to do other things. I had I was in a book club. I worked in a jail. I was a person that did counseling in a jail, a booking agent. I was all kinds of things all over the place, but it always dealt with law enforcement and helping people and counseling. And he was in prison work, right? So we were total opposites with our activities, but I showed up for him because I had to be present. He said, you have to do things I would like to do too. And I have to do things that you like. I swear to God, I would take him to a reading, a poetry reading. I'd take him to a comedy, I'd take him to all of these things that I used to like. And he'd be like, what the fuck do I have to get out of here? When can I get out of here? He would be thinking that in his head. Why do I got to show up? But you have to show up for me because I'm your wife and you have to show up for me. Just like I have to show up for a football game for you. I hate football. I hate any kind of sport. Just leave me alone. But he was just a fanatic. So I had to show up for him. I had to be present for him. Okay. So I had to take care of his emotional well-being in that relationship, just like he had to take care of my emotional well-being. Okay. But for you to take care of yourself and live in the present as a wife, learn to go to therapy. Learn to go to support, what is those things called? You go to meetings. Go to meetings where people are doing the same thing or want to do the same thing as you. Go to a wife meeting. Go to a supporting meeting, therapy, journal, learn to write stuff down, meditate 30 minutes in the bathroom before everybody wakes up to center yourself. Celebrate small things. Your husband got a promotion at the job, celebrate. Even if it's little, Okay. Make sure you don't bring any kind of past hurt and anxiety into relationships. Learn to put all of that to the back burner when you get married, when you get into a relationship. Fully engage in the relationship. That I'm talking relationships, I'm talking marriage. I'm not talking about dating. Dating is a whole nother host of things. People say, well, HQ, you old, you don't know nothing about dating. When my husband died, I dated, had sex, all that good stuff. I know exactly what the dating market is about. I get all of that. And I had to make the comparison between being old and having dated 20 odd years, 30 odd years before, and transitioning into the 2022 dating market, 21 dating market. So I get it, all of that. But I didn't find that the dating market was trash. I just knew there was levels to vetting men. Okay. And I opted out of it. I opted out of the dating market because I'm a serious person. And I want to, and a person, if I meet a person at my age or older, I don't expect you to be on bullshit, right? You've already been on bullshit, okay? When we were younger, I don't expect you to be on bullshit at 55 and 60. I don't expect you to be on that. I expect you to have already ran through your whole phase, your phase of dating young girls, your whole phase of doing all that. I expect you to have gone through all of that already. I don't expect you to be on any kind of garbage. I don't expect you to be asking me how many bodies I got. I don't expect you to be asking me any of those kind of questions. Hey, Rose, I don't expect you to ask me certain things at this age. So I expect you to be fully present and engaging in romantic relationships. This is how you have to be once you get married. All of that has to be pushed to the side. Enjoy your life. You got to learn to enjoy right now, present. You cannot be inside your head and say, how do I do this, this, this? It always has to be a we mentality. Once you get married, it's a we mentality. It's not a me mentality, right? And I always walked into the door thinking, what can I do to make it better? Can I make this relationship better? Can I make him more happy? And this is the same thing that a husband is supposed to do with the wife, giving me things. But then again, that depends also on your what is that called? Your emotional what makes you happy? What is your love language? Depending on your love language. My love language is acts of service. When I didn't have to take the garbage out and I knew the garbage out, my husband took the garbage out, not a problem. That told me he loved me. When I didn't have to sweep the porch, I didn't have to clear the leaves off the driveway. I didn't have to worry about the house being painted. I didn't have to worry about furniture being moved. When my husband did that without me asking, without any kind of thing, I was grateful for that. Acts of service for me, it tells me you love me. I don't need you to give me a. That's why it's difficult for me to, when people were saying, how old are you, HQ? I didn't know. I mean, I really had not thought about, because I don't celebrate those kind of things. I celebrate real today. It is what it is today. Loving me how I am today, whether I'm fat, skinny, cantankerous, whatever. I keep telling people I'm a cantankerous person. I want what I want, how I want it. And most people do. But I learned to live when I have a partner. I learned to live today, celebrating the partner today, enjoying life, traveling today, trying new things today, making beautiful memories today. These are things you do when you get married. It's not a matter of having leverage over another person. See, and a lot of people think you got to have leverage over your wife so she act a certain way. I'm not giving you no kind of expectation in this marriage, not to act a certain way. You act the way that comes next. It don't take nothing to be a good person. It doesn't take anything for you not to be a hyena. It don't take nothing for you not to cheat. I don't give men a pass on the cheating. I don't give women on a pass of being a rah-rah. I don't give you a pass on those things because it doesn't take much to be a good person. waiting for the right time to thank a person, be grateful for what you have, do it now. Be present with your spouse right now. Okay? Walk up to them and tell them you love them. Unexpectedly. I care about you. And if you can't say I love you, say I care about you. I care about you a lot. Tell your children that same thing. Okay? Be your own individual person inside of yourself, but your actions should express a we mentality, just like his actions should express a we mentality. Okay? And a lot of people, me. Stop that me. Stop. Every activity, every action that you do, you stop and say, would my husband approve of this if he was here? If they would say no, then don't do it. Okay? Same thing with a husband. Would my wife approve of this if she were here? If you say no inside your head, then the no it should be, right? That's how you live in present day. Always have consideration of the person that you want to be married to, right? And the best life is the life in which you want to be the happiest. You feel more fulfilled, you feel more confident, you're at peace, all of these things. But if you don't feel at peace with yourself, you don't have the right tools to be happy within yourself, ain't no way you can make somebody else happy. That is the key. That is, I would tell, if you take away anything, take away the fact that if you're not happy, nobody's going to be happy around you. And the other people around you don't deserve to be unhappy when you're unhappy. So make yourself happy. You have to make yourself happy first. You have to. Because if you're ugly and you feel ugly and broken and all of that, it never works. And a lot of people get into relationships and they're broken and they haven't thought about the fact that they need to heal and get help. Getting married and being in a relationship takes work, communication, respect. Excuse me. Okay. You have to prioritize that relationship. Prioritize. This is being in the present. Prioritize that relationship. You have to be upfront and honest. Talk openly about feelings, about things you want to do, about things you have not done, about things. I'm not saying walk up to somebody and say, hey, I got 25 bodies. Ain't no way I would convey that. Okay. It's really not an important fact. People keep saying body count matters, but you shouldn't ask anybody that. That's a concern that you shouldn't have. If you like me, don't ask me how many bodies that I got. Don't ask me those kind of questions. If you want to build from that day forward, that ruins a lot of relationships when you start asking past questions and things that have no concern or don't have any kind of relevance to what's going on right now. Learn to listen to your partner about the concerns they have, about their dreams, about what they want to do. And if it doesn't align with what you want to do, you need to have a conversation without judgment, without being defensive, without being angry, without being a hyena. Expectations in a relationship is key to long-term longevity, long-term relationships. I need to know what you want to do long-term so I can act accordingly. I can adjust my schedule or adjust what I want accordingly if that's what I want to do. It's very important to come out and say what you want to do when you're dating, in the dating phase. Otherwise, I don't know how to, you spring on me that you want to live in Alaska. We married, but you didn't tell me you wanted to move to Alaska. I'm just finding this out. Well, it's been a dream of mine. No. You need to know these things up front and honest in a clear communication strategy for this relationship to work. Okay. Learn to like this person for the way that they are, not how you want them to be. And a lot of people have dreams about a person, about what they're going to do, what they will do, what they're capable of doing, and they never listen to what they actually can do, want to do. Their actions don't line up. Listen, look at their actions. Okay. Look at their actions. That will tell you. Okay. That will tell you how you can proceed. Okay. Learn to do things together, but you have to be individualistic first before you get married. I don't care what nobody say. You got to know what you like, what you don't like, what you will and what you won't do. You need to know these things first before you get married. Then you can love and laugh and joke and have happy and do all of those things you do as a couple because you understand what it's like to be individualistic. So you have to know what that's like first. Okay. Saying thank you and please, very small things, but those things go a long way. Tell a person that they're beautiful that day. Tell a person that they're handsome that day. Live in the present moment. Get rid of those grudges and griefs and headaches on that day and learn to get rid of it right then. You have to celebrate the person that you're with because who gonna celebrate them if it ain't you? Okay. Present day acceptance and facing those realities present day. Fighting in present day. Apologize and forgive that day. Excuse me. Don't let little small things get in the way and then it builds small, 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 small. Boom. Don't ever let that happen. I had a supervisor a long time ago. He would say to me, solutions, 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 HQ. Don't bring me no problems. When you bring me a problem, bring me a solution, solution, solution. He used to say that all the time. Solution, solution, solution. I don't want to hear problem. Bring me solutions, right? And I'm saying that to you. Focus on the solutions in the relationship instead of blaming each other. Because when you blame, take accountability. When you blame, it's like you're not taking accountability for your part. Take accountability for your part. And when your partner says this is a part of your fault and you did this, a little bit of this, take accountability right there, that day, that moment. He says we should not have did this, we shouldn't have went there, we shouldn't have did that. You take accountability for telling him the wrong directions. You take accountability for telling him the wrong background and take accountability that day. Right? Focus on solutions, 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 not problems. And I think most successful marriages, they focus on how we can get through these things other than trying to blame. Don't get bogged down by accountability. Don't get bogged down by the small thing. Small thing, small thing, small thing, boom. Don't get bogged down by that. Another thing to keep the relationship in the present. Keep the romance and the love alive that day. Go on regular dates with your person. Surprise your person with gifts. Not big gifts, not expensive gifts, but gifts. A box of chocolate. I was thinking about you today and I bought a box of chocolate. Okay. Touch your partner. Learn the love language. Still network with G Honda. I got 30 years that back me up and say I'm right. Okay. Go on regular dates. Be affectionate. Touch your partner. Kiss your partner. Be loving to your partner. Do that every day. Do it every day. because it keeps the romance going. It keeps the intimacy going. Don't ever stop having the sex. Sex slows down as we get older. I get it. But at my age, you should be at least having sex once or twice a week. At my age. When you're young, you could be humping every day. But at my age, we doing good at once or twice a week. Okay? Make it a priority. Make sex a priority. Make touching your partner a priority. Make regular gifts and dates a priority. This is in a marriage. We're not talking about dating. We're talking about in a relationship, in a marriage, in a long-term healthy marriage where you want it to stay healthy, where you want it to be all that it can be, optimized. And teamwork. Teamwork is one of the most important things in a relationship. Okay. 3-hour love making thing. You have somebody walking like Fred Sanford. Shut up, Jihan. Work as a team. Look at it as a team. Support each other in these relationships. Support each other during tough times. Somebody dies, support your partner. Make decisions together. Major decisions together. Of course, there's going to be small decisions that you make along the way as a wife, as a husband. But primarily major decisions like, are we going to buy a house? Are we going to buy another car? Are we going to save this money? Are we going to invest this money? Those are important things that you need to discuss together. You don't take no money and then pay your sister's debt off. And it's a part of you all's your marriage money. You don't do that. You also have to share the responsibilities with each other. If you don't do it, he'll do it. If he don't do it, you do it. Okay? My husband, he never let me touch the garbage. And he was a chef. After he retired from being a correction officer, he liked to cook. So he was always, no, you stay out of the kitchen, HQ. I know you don't like to cook. And when he got sick, he cooked all the time, 3 meals a day. He was that type of person. He 3 meals a day. Be like, dang, I'd wake up, in the morning, and then he would have food sitting on the bed. This was after 20 some years being married. I would wake up and he would have food sitting on the side of the bed for me. Wake up. He would say, wake up. I made you breakfast. And on Sundays, I would take him out on a date every Sunday. Because I was working and he was sick. He was sick, but he wasn't sick. He didn't look sick. He would do all the normal things. He just couldn't get stressed, right? He couldn't stress. So he would make me breakfast, 2 or 3 times a week, and then I would take him out to lunch, a breakfast on Sunday, and treat him and pay for it and do all of those things. Okay, so I'm saying we worked as a team, and we supported each other. I'm saying making these major decisions together. This is what we did as a couple. I'm saying for you to live and love in real time, you have to be conscious of these things. Okay. Oh, I used to love taking him out to breakfast. I say pick or take him out to dinner or whatever. He knew Sunday he could pick whatever place he wanted to go, and I was gonna pay for it. And he used to take me. We used to go. We lived in a town where they had a casino, right? And casinos had every evening they would have like they would be able to eat lobster and seafood, right? So I'd take him there, and he would just put a bucket in front of him full of lobster. He'd just be like, when I get done with this bucket, you bring another bucket. And he would eat crab legs, and I hate crab legs, right? But I would sit there and watch him eat because he had such a joy of eating crab legs. And I would be, I would pay for that. And, it was expensive, but that was okay because I worked and he had gotten sick, so he couldn't work, right? But he got disability, but that was okay. I made the most money because I made the most money at that particular time, but throughout our lifetime, he was the one who made the most money. But then when he got sick, it was my turn, right? So I would take him out on a date every Sunday. Wherever you want to go, baby, we'll take a drive, and then we'll go and we eat whatever you want. So he got to pick whatever he wanted to, wherever he wanted to go. So that was our way of communicating and staying in touch with each other. So I learned to choose him every day. You learn to choose your spouse every day, right? So we used to do that. We used to do all of these things together. Learn to do things together. See, I know how to crochet, macrame. I know how to do all that stuff. Make blankets, make plant holders. I know how to make all of that kind of stuff because my mother taught me how to do it, right? So and paper maches and paint murals and stuff like that. So I taught him how to do those kind of things. He was like, I ain't never learned this shit. My parents never taught me how to do none of this. I don't even know what this stuff is, right? And I used to teach him how to do those kind of things. And then he would promise to teach me how to shoot. Although I can't stand guns, but certain things he learned. He said you would die off into a fool. You would die if you had to survive. You couldn't survive without me because I know how to kill animals and do. He know how to do all that stuff. So we learned from each other. We discovered each other. We were early in our relationship. He was 25, I was 23 when we got married. Right? So we learn to grow with each other, learn what we like. Love is a choice. I'm going to tell you that right now. It's a choice. It's not just feeling about a person. You invest in this person. You learn to pick early. I'm going to do a session on vetting next week, the levels of vetting that a person will do, right? Because when I met him, I saw that he loved children. I saw that he knew how to cook. I saw that he didn't put his hands on other. Well, he was a correction officer, so he did whoop ass at work, but he didn't want to put his hands on me, right? And I knew he had the capacity to love other people besides himself, because I could tell the way he talked to my children. Because my children, when he met them, they were 1 and 2. I had taught them to be respectful. They were very shy. And so he learned how to talk to them and they learned to trust him, right? So I knew he was kind of a trustworthy person. So I learned to find reasons to appreciate this human being, right? Every day. Because these are choices that we got to make every day. He wasn't perfect. He had an ex-wife, and she was keeping the kid away from his child, his daughter, my bonus daughter. He was keeping her away from him. I saw him cry when she would keep him away from her. And just a whole host of things. All of these things come with a human being. All of these things. But it's a choice that you make every day. It's not just a feeling, it's a choice. You choose to love and respect these people every day, right? And you don't let off the gas. You don't take a person for granted. Every day you walk in that door, you choose that husband, you choose that wife. But you got to find reasons to appreciate that person every day. Basics. They got to have a car. They got to have a place to stay. They got to have doing something constructive with their money. That's the level 1 of vetting. Because this is about adulting. Being on this planet is not about just being on this planet. Some of us are meant to be single, but the people who want to actually move through the earth with another human being, you have to learn the likings and the dealings of another person. And you need to learn how to appreciate that person for who they are, what they bring to the table. It's not about money. It's not about money. I understand when people say this person has to have money, blah, blah, blah. I get all that. But I think it's more fun. Me personally, when we build together and we do things together. How we can get out, we could do this together. How we can come up, me and you together, legally, the right way. Don't it feel good when we can go on vacation and we both paid for it and we both put it together and we both did it? Okay. I'm one of those builder people. I love to do things together. I'm a team person. Okay. But I'm also an individual person too. I also have to be my own individual person because I have to know myself, love myself, want myself, desire all the things that I need for myself in order for me to be a full functioning human being. And the only way to be in a marriage and be functioning in a marriage is for you to be a whole human being. But it takes effort, it takes time, it takes wanting to be a good person. That's the first rule. Be a good person. Know that you're a good person. Know that you're a bad person, right? That's a part of knowing yourself. If you know you ain't a good person, try to change the things that would make you not a good person. Just you know when you being selfish. A woman knows that. I don't got time for a man. I ain't he got to do this. He ain't got to do none of those things. And she don't have to do any of those things. If you're not willing to put your stuff over here and look at the other person and choose the other person, choose to make their particular life happy or pull their life into yours and you contribute to making their life better, then you're not ready for being married. That's my whole point, S. Smith. If you are not a good person, please stay out of relationships. You know if you're a good person, if you're a cheater, a liar, you got an addiction, you can't keep a job, you don't know how to keep clothes on. These are things that say that you're not ready for a relationship. No, correct all of those things. You have to correct those things first. And then you emerge from that evolution as a better person. And you're ready to be in a relationship and you're ready to love another person. A lot of people say they're ready to love another person, but they have no clue about how another human being is another human being. If they thought like you, acted like you, did things like you, they would be you. You have to have tolerance for other people's things, but the basics have to be that vetting process. The vetting process. And I'm gonna put it in the chat. I'm probably gonna do vetting next week. Let's start with the basics on that vetting. People think they understand vetting, but they don't understand vetting. They think, oh, okay, I want to hunch on the person. That's vetting. No, that's not vetting. You have to know what you want first. You have to know all the things that you're willing to do and say first. Then you'll be ready for a relationship. You can't be half-assed and then expect a whole human being that's fully functioning, knows what they want to function with you. They're going to see your flaws. They're going to see the fucked upness and then leave you. I'm a hunch. And then I'm going to leave you because you ain't ready for a relationship. You doing bullshit. You got addictions. You hanging out with your girls. You don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that. Yes, S. Smith, self-awareness is the first step. People say, well, you selfish if you thinking about yourself. If you think about yourself and that's all you think about yourself is yourself, and you don't know how to think outside the box and you don't have the emotional maturity to think of another person first, stay out of relationships because you're ruining it for the rest of us who want to be in relationships, who want to be somebody's +2, +1. So this is the lesson of living and learning in real time. Live and learn in real time on this day. The person that you involved with, love, live with them, like them. Come to Detroit, get some young me. Tires, bro. Ty Pro, I am learning about myself, so I won't be so cantankerous, right? Thank you. Come to Detroit, get some young meat. HQ $1.99. No, thank you, sir. I've already been that route. I'm good. But I thank you for the super chat. I do. Thank you. Thank you. And I will see you guys next week. Later on, I'm going to do another reaction video. Hey, Team Peterson. Hey, Trey. Hey, S. Smith. Tahila. I can't know how that is. Smell the Roses Rose. Tahilaism. Ty Pro. G Honda. All of you guys. Inalia. Thank you all. I will talk to you next week. You know I love y'all. Stay up, SBC Nation.